There was a lot of mystery built up around him before I ever met him. The entire town warned us about him. With Warren Jeffs being in prison and us not having any connection with him for years, we were always looking for like the messenger because we were starved. The mainstream FLDS did not accept him, and it made him really mad. So
Yeah.
it took him a long time to build a following. The rest of the FLDS he hated because they wouldn't accept him. All those younger girls are married, from that one all the way up to like the oldest one. And I'm sitting there just like kind of freaking out. If there was any FLDS woman that was not married or under priesthood direction of some sort, she would be destroyed, like die, like in the
Whoa.
destructions. And we believed in the destruction. We believed that at any moment the world was going to end. He started marrying more and more of my sisters. And then he married one of my moms, every girl in that house. And it felt like he was taking my entire foundation. I think basically the whole house knew that someone from the inside was feeding the outside information. Everybody knew that I was a traitor. But when we got home and I walked through the door and she saw me, she just started bawling. And she was like, oh my God, like you finally like accepted this and you're finally home and like you're finally safe.
Mine is the only voice.
Wow.
What have I been doing?
Lay down my autonomy.
After that, it got very dark very quickly.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for being here. I can't thank you enough for your support, and truly the very best way you can support the show and our guest is by hitting that subscribe button. We actually went into the back end to see how many of you are subscribed, and there are about 54% of our viewers who are not. Now, we have been getting messages and emails even that YouTube does this thing where they unsubscribe someone who was previously subscribed, so it would mean a lot to us if you could just take a second, double check that you're subscribed, and hit the bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Thank you again. It really means a lot to us that you're willing to support. Hey everybody, my name is Shalise Ansola, and this is Cults to Consciousness, where we discuss leaving high-demand religions or organizations and finding healing and independence through awareness and true individual sovereignty. We really appreciate you guys being here. Any way that you can interact with the post, boost the algorithm, and help support our guests. Leaving those words of encouragement really helps them feel seen and validated and heard. Today's guest, we found her through social media because we had already been connected with Christine Katas. If you guys saw the Trust Me documentary, False Prophet, we're talking about Sam Bateman today, and we were actually talking to another one of his wives, ex-wives, to clarify. You may have seen Gnomes. We did an interview with her and an interview with Christine, which you're definitely going to want to check out if you have not seen that already after this one. Today, we are talking to his 22nd ex-wife and what it was like seeing the documentary and kind of the aftermath of everything too with the recent trial. So much to discuss. Thank you so much for being here, Makelle.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I've loved this podcast for so long, and
No way.
my brother was always telling me like, you've got to go on that, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm just a fangirl.
Oh my gosh,
Like,
who's your brother? Do I know your brother?
I don't think so, but he's also a fan. He listens to it all the time. Yeah.
Wow. Well, we'll have to get him on.
Maybe.
That's so cool. How long have you been listening to the show?
I would say for the past like 4 years. Even when
we first started?
I'm not sure when you first
In
started,
the bedroom
but
set?
it was a very long time ago because it was when I was deconstructing. So even when I was still like in the Sam Bateman house, I would, be doing the dishes, listening to this show. Just
shut up. Really?
Yeah.
That is the most full circle moment I have ever heard. Are you serious? That's crazy.
It really helped me.
Wait, when you were in Sam Bateman's house, while you were one of his wives, you were listening to the show?
Yeah, but I couldn't tell anybody.
So this is blowing my mind. So, wow. Okay, we're just going to make this a little cliffhanger then, because I obviously want to know more about this, but I think we have to do a how did we get here moment.
Mm-hmm.
How you were not necessarily a part of the documentary and why, I guess, before we jump into your story. So let's just start there.
So the documentary, it's been a very long time in the making. I was the first one of the wives to come forward and turn against Sam, speak out against him, and I was basically the Judas Iscariot of his wives. And I was very ashamed of that, not only because it meant I was a traitor, but for my family, the suffering that they went through, not only because of Sam, but because of everything that happened after him, the law enforcement, the way that they ripped them apart, took them to jail, took them into CPS. Like, I did not want to stand up and be like, yeah, I helped with that. That was me, you know? Like, I was
Yeah.
not proud of it in any way, especially when I went in and saw, in particular, Gnomes when she was in prison. That was one of the hardest things that I'd ever seen, and I did not want to be alive at that point. We could get into that. But anyway, I just kept telling myself, like, it's worth it. Your family will eventually thank you. They're going to be glad that they got out of this. It's only a matter of time. And I thought in my mind that there was a community out here that would support me and would be on my side. And I just had to like keep fighting. But I actually had a family member who I'd never really known. And she lived on the East Coast. And she sent me some messages like telling me that I was contaminated for being there and existing. And her words were, "Your beliefs landed you in Sam's bed. Your mind is so fucked up. I don't think it'll ever be normal." And so that made me just not
What?
want to. I I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Was this someone who was also in the FLDS or no?
They had been in the FLDS at one time. They were actually a child bride, and they left at about 18. Someone I really, really looked up to. And so
Oh
I
my
just thought the
gosh.
entire world was gonna say that to me. And
Yeah.
that was gonna be, you know, just for being in that space. So I did not want to have anything to do with the documentary. I
Mhm.
was so scared of even being known. When Gnomes went on it, and the overwhelming response of like support and love from the world to her, it blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, like they don't all think like that. In fact, it's very rare that anybody says things like that to
Yeah.
her or to me now. So it's a huge relief. But yeah, and it held
Yeah.
me back. Those messages held me back for a couple years.
Wow. Also, coming from someone who had been through something traumatic as well, and how there's just complete lack of
Yeah,
understanding, probably a little bit of projection, maybe how she felt about herself in some ways.
I don't know. Like she's a really cool person. Like I still look up to her. She's just not someone I really want in my life right now, but I thought of all people she would understand. I wonder if part of it was because when they arrested so many of my family, I was really sad about it, like to the point of regretting ever going to the FBI.
Mhm.
And I can see how that would be taken as like regretting turning against Sam, which I didn't, but it was overwhelming. It was too much.
Yeah. That's a lot to handle. And in fact, I talked to Christine before this and I got her permission to share what was saying about you, but she was like, this girl, speaking of Makelle, was the reason that we got as far as we did because you were the first one to offer any sort of information to confirm that the underage girls were in fact being called wives. The first
Mhm.
one to really have those secret meetings with her and then to let her in on the information with Julia. And I
Mhm.
mean, whoever's seen the show, you know how that pans out. Now he's in prison if you haven't seen the show. But yeah, you were a huge part of that. And so I can see how that was just a lot to handle, the overwhelming reaction from the world with the documentary and the flooding of messages, I'm sure, and just dealing with the
Yeah.
backlash. So
Well, that
go
was
ahead.
overwhelming, but it was good. The
Yeah.
messages from the world, it was just like exactly what I needed to even have any kind of self-confidence. Like it fixed me. So I'm so grateful Gnomes went on that show. Like not only did it change her life, it changed mine too. So
Yeah. And now we're going to talk about all of this and how we got here. So, for those who aren't familiar, FLDS, the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is a break-off polygamous sect. I grew up in the mainstream Mormon church that does not practice polygamy, so don't confuse the two. The FLDS is separate. It is currently led by their prophet Warren Jeffs, who is also in prison. And Sam Bateman basically claimed that he was prophet and started his own, would you classify it as his own sect of the FLDS? How did you view it?
Yes.
Okay.
He thought that he was the next prophet after Warren Jeffs, but the mainstream FLDS did not accept him, and it made him really mad. So
Yeah.
it took him a long time to build a following, and the rest of the FLDS he hated because they wouldn't accept him.
Yeah. We did an interview. I don't know if you saw it with his sister, Jude, and she gave us so much information. And I was like, it all makes sense. Just all of the dots connecting, even down to the fact that he wanted to be a stuntman growing up. I was like, that tracks.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always wondered, like, what in him needed that sort of validation, but I haven't seen that interview. I feel like that would clear up a lot of things for me.
Yeah, you should check it out. And maybe we could even do a live with you and Jude, and you guys could chat. And we
Oh,
could even bring
maybe.
Gnomes in if you wanted to.
Maybe, yeah, we could talk about that.
So let's go back to your childhood. And I'm just curious the context where you came from. You had mentioned off camera you had 3 moms, but what
Mhm.
was your childhood like? Was it mostly in Short Creek where you also moved around?
It was basically in Shore Creek until I was about 17, so, yeah, my childhood was spent there. All 3 moms were in the same house. All the kids grew up together. I have 27 siblings, 21 brothers, and 6 sisters.
That's insane. 21 brothers in one house. How did you even survive?
It was a lot of fun. A lot of, tumbling. We destroyed that house, like, at any given moment, it was just loud and all these boys were playing instruments. We were a very musical family, but it didn't sound like music, it sounded like absolute noise. It was the most fun. My dad wasn't there. He was sent away by the FLDS church when I was around 4 years old, so I have a couple
Mm.
little memories of him, but yeah, I grew up without him.
Oh, man. And that's also something that was going on within Warren Jeffs. And we've talked to so many people from the mainstream FLDS too. So if anyone's curious about that, we've spoken to his own kids, Warren's kids and
Yeah.
Warren's ex-wives also. But he was doing all sorts of stuff from prison, just sending the men away for really no reason, leaving these women to raise all of these kids. And you were
Yeah.
a casualty of that. So do you have any memories of your dad?
Yes, I do. There's a couple good ones, but the main thing that stands out is that he was very strict in FLDS teachings. I was kind of scared of him just because it was so easy to get in trouble. We had quiet time, and if anybody made a noise, he would wash your mouth out with soap. So we were kind of scared of him, but we really loved him, you know?
Yeah, I just can't imagine trying to do quiet time with that many kids.
Yeah.
That was probably a lot of soap in mouths.
Never happened to me. He did really good for how many kids he had, I think. I don't know. I don't remember too much about him.
Where did you fall in the lineup?
So I'm the youngest of the first wife.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm one of the younger ones.
Do you remember when the second wife came along?
She came along long before I was born.
Okay.
So she's always been there. And then the third wife, I believe she got married a couple years before I was born. So she's always been there too.
Okay, so you were just born into a household with 3 mothers, and that was your normal.
Mhm.
Did you like it having 3 moms?
I loved it. I know that might be controversial, but you can kind of get anything you want depending on which mother you ask at which time. And it was a lot of fun. And they didn't fight from what I saw. I know it couldn't have been all perfect, but it was like after my dad went, then these 3 women just kind of stuck together and made it work. Like
Mm.
my mom, she was the main breadwinner. She paid all the bills. She was always gone. I really missed her. And then the other 2 moms took care of the kids for the most part. And I did fall between the cracks. Like I got left home a lot because I didn't really have a mom there. But I mean, I survived.
You feel like you were a little overlooked?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've always thought I was like the black sheep of the family.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just always thought different. I don't know.
Yeah. Did you ask too many questions?
I did. And I would say weird stuff. And I had a crazy imagination, so I was always writing stories and So they would always like make fun of me for that. Like, oh, like she's, imagining again. Like I was a dreamer,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. And when gnomes came along because she got put in our family,
Oh.
yeah, her and I kind of clicked, and then we both wrote stories together, and then it was like an absolute disaster. In the eyes of my family. They didn't like us together. They were always trying to like separate us, and they ended up moving us to different houses, and we would like run away, run across town to see each other and get in trouble and all these little things that weren't bad, but at the time, like it's almost because we did them, they were bad.
Got
It's
it.
completely harmless. But yeah, we could not do anything right.
So you're about the same age then?
She's 4 years older than me.
Oh, okay. Have you ever heard of Quince? I discovered them about a year ago and I'm absolutely obsessed because aside from their luxury, timeless clothing and jewelry, they also have high-end essentials like kitchen and bedding. Quince uses premium materials and quality designs that stand the test of time. You can truly feel the difference in their high-quality fabrics, like 100% Mongolian cashmere and buttery soft bamboo. Actually, like this cotton cashmere tank that has been a solid go-to because it's so versatile. The fabric on this truly blew me away when I got it. Zoom in on this. It's so comfortable. In fact, I actually just ordered a second one in blue. I still can't believe it's only $36. And the reason for their affordable prices is because they work directly with ethical factories, just completely cutting out the middlemen. So you pay for the luxury without the markup, as in 50 to 80% lower than similar brands. I have noticed my favorites do sell out quick. So if you need a closet refresh, now's the time. Download the Quince app for app exclusive offers or go to quince.com/cultfree. Get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/cultfree. Thanks, guys. Back to our guest. So your life in Short Creek was actually pretty pleasant growing up, at least that you can remember.
Parts of it? Yeah, I think the things that weren't normal, I didn't pay too much attention to. We just kind of lived through them. And then when you're looking back on it, you're like, oh my God, I went without shoes for 2 years. We starved. Like, we didn't have food. We had to throw away all our dolls and all this shit. And families ripped apart and everybody's assigned a number. And there was a lot of things, but in my mind, it was normal. I don't know. I was never sad about it. I just lived through it.
Yeah, I mean, you listed quite a few things there, just very casually. Makelle. She's like, yeah, we didn't eat. Anyway, like, hold on,
It
what?
felt very normal. No, we ate, but we ate like the same thing for like 8 months straight, and because it's all we had.
Like what?
There was these whole wheat noodles. They didn't stay together. They would break apart. And so we'd have those with like tomato juice, no cheese, no really nothing else. We hated it. It was like the worst thing ever, but I mean, it's all we had. Most of the time we had like lettuce, so we'd have some sort of salad, but we didn't get a lot of meat, like lunch meat, sandwiches, like that was so rare. It was like it was like a party when we got that. But that was only for a couple years.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds like you would probably be hungry frequently.
You got used to it. We all got really skinny. It's only because of the system they had us live in called the United Order, where everybody had to give everything they had to the storehouse, and then the storehouse gives back what they think you need. And yeah, it's kind of everything good went to the leaders, and everybody else got crumbs.
Ugh.
So that's kind of
I love hearing that you and Gnomes were besties and basically sisters growing up, and then you became sister wives. How did Sam get introduced to you? What was your first impression of Sam?
there was a lot of mystery built up around him before I ever met him, and I think that's very much a cult tactic. But it wasn't only good, the entire town warned us about him. They were very sketchy. But with Warren Jeffs being in prison and us not having any connection with him for years, we were always looking for like the messenger, somebody sent of Warren Jeffs who maybe had his message, who would maybe give us some kind of connection, because we were starved to talk to him and to be led by the priest. It was like getting word from God. So we would die for that. There were several little false prophets that would pop up, and, you'd hear all these rumors, and Sam was one of those. And he kind of used it as like, oh, but wouldn't the real messenger be doubted like this? Didn't they doubt Jesus like this? Yeah, there was definitely a whole like aura build up around him before we ever met. And then he established a connection with my brother Lud, or Liddell. We call him Lud. And they started talking for, I think, about a year before he ever mentioned anything to me. But Gnomes watched this happen. And she told me secretly that they were talking. And she's like, have you ever heard of Sam Bateman? Like, he's like so weird, and he this and that and the other, and he's like immoral. And she just basically warned me about him. She was really like sketched out by whatever she had heard about him. I remembered that because I kind of thought that she might get involved with him, like, because Lud had a lot of influence over her and would pressure her into a lot of things. Over the next year or so, she kept talking about him, but her tone changed. And she would say, I don't think we should judge somebody so harshly. We don't even know anything about him. Isn't it true that they said the same things about Jesus? Like, what if he is the right one and we're just making fun of him? And then she started expressing to me just like a really strong desire to be a part of the redemption of Zion. And I don't know if anybody's heard that term before, but it's very much an FLDS thing.
Yeah.
From there, she started telling me a little bit about his wives. I think I could say their name because they're writing a book and going public.
Maybe wait until they've gone public. You can just make up a name
okay.
if you want.
It's just his first two wives.
Okay.
But she started telling me about them, and then she let me know that they were both pregnant, and nobody was getting pregnant in the FLDS. That's when everybody would take a giant step back and be like, I want nothing to do with this, because if you commit adultery, it's basically straight to hell.
Yeah. And for context, for those who don't follow the FLDS, in prison, Warren Jeffs continued to give prophecies and said no one could get married and husband and wives can't have sex anymore. So you could not get pregnant. It was not allowed. Not just you probably shouldn't. It was you cannot get pregnant. And that's why what Sam was doing was so blasphemous, because everyone's going, hold on, what's going on?
Yeah, it wasn't only don't get pregnant, it was don't even shake hands with your brother because he's a boy and you're a girl.
Wow.
Don't be in the same room as him. Like, there was very strict boy-girl separation. Like, it was insane. So if you hear about somebody getting pregnant, that is definitely not normal, and everybody freaks out. But yeah, she told me they were pregnant, and I was like, I don't know about this. And then she started telling me about all the suffering that they were going through because they were ostracized and because the FLDS didn't accept them, and that a lot of the times they were sort of cast out of FLDS places or they went hungry. And so I felt bad for them. I did. And it started from that, where I was like, I'll do anything to help someone who's like suffering, whatever. But I did not know what was going on behind the scenes. Basically, from that point, Lud persuaded me into going to Lincoln, which is where Moroni and Sam lived with all their wives and apparently babies. I did not want to go, but he would call me like every day, like, are you sure you don't want to go? Are you sure you don't want to go? And I would be like, no, 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 no. But at the last second, he was like, I'm driving out of the driveway. This is your last chance. And it was sort of like you could miss the opportunity that's going to guarantee your salvation, you know? So finally I was like, you know what? You are my caretaker, my priesthood head, as they call it. You tell me whether or not I should go, because I have to obey you. And he's like, you should come. So I grabbed all my clothes in like 5 seconds and just jumped in. And then I regretted it the whole time, because I was sitting there like, it's literally like going to heaven or hell. Like, so extreme. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I might be doing the right thing. I might be doing the worst thing I've ever done in my life. Like, there's really no in between. I don't know. I kind of fought with that in my head the entire time. But when we got to Lincoln, there were a lot of babies, everybody in that house. They were really kind, they were really welcoming, and it was very peaceful, weirdly. I know that it's probably unexpected. I felt good about being there, but there was also like a little bit of being on edge. Like, I didn't know everything that was happening, but I just felt there was more to it. And anyway, we got back to the hotel after going to that house, and Noam said something about this girl who was about 9 years old, and she called her mother so-and-so. And in the FLDS, they only call them, like, mother so-and-so if they're married. So, like, for my moms, it would be, like, Mother June, Mother Teresa, Mother Sue. That's what they call their moms in the FLDS. And so she's referring to this 9-year-old girl as mother so-and-so, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, they're married. Like, all those younger girls are married from that one all the way up to, like, the oldest one. Everybody, all of these sisters are all married to him." And I'm sitting there just, like, kind of freaking out, not gonna lie.
Yeah. How old were you?
I was 17 or 18. I turned 18 right around that time. But I don't know, how convenient is it for these two families to go off somewhere away from the rest of the community, and then this guy just marries every single one of the girls in that house? Like, that's not God, that's convenience. I kind of
Mhm.
had a problem with it, but I didn't dare say because I knew they would judge me, and they were all kind of waiting for my reaction to see if I would accept it or if I was, like, open to them, like a friend or a foe, basically. From that point on, I kind of kept my distance. I stayed at the hotel a lot. But when we got back to Colorado, because my family had moved to Colorado by that time, Lud calls me and he's like, "So I heard you had a problem with Sam marrying a 9-year-old."
He just came right out and said it like that?
Yeah. And he was kind of laughing. He's like, "Yeah, like, I heard that you're having a problem with this, and, like, what's the deal?"
You're like, "Yeah, what's the deal, Lud?"
And I was sort of like, "Why? Like, what's the reason? Why can't he just wait till she's 18 or, just a little bit older? Because she's a child."
Yeah.
And so he would try to explain it to me how there's a certain level of training. They just have to start younger in order to not let them be indoctrinated into the ways of the world. They wanted him to grow up right. He would call me every single day. And it was sort of like, "Have you accepted it yet? Like, are you okay with child marriage yet? Do you still have a problem with this?" And I kept fighting back with him. I was a huge I was somewhat rebellious in that I would go out and listen to Taylor Swift, and I was obsessed with her, and I loved everything about, like, what she was doing with her life. And so I would kind of quote her to him, and it was a very weird way to fight back, but I would kind of use her lyrics and stuff. He got really sick of it. And one day he called me and he's like, "I have been praying on my knees for like 4 hours over you. And it's torturing me that you can't see the rightness of this."
Oh my
He's like,
gosh. It's so backwards. It's so backwards.
"Yeah, but at the time I felt very guilty."
Yeah.
He's like, "I've been in pain just because it's so important that you accept this. And you keep holding on to these traditions and things that you've kind of brainwashed yourself with. You can't move forward in the redemption of Zion if you're going to have those things holding you back."
Can I ask what Taylor Swift lyrics you were using? Do you remember?
So it was when the Folklore album had just come out.
Uh-huh.
And I can't remember what song it's from, but basically Lud was calling me crazy. And, I was like, "Every time you call me crazy, something about you made me like that. Like, yeah, I'm crazy, but this is your fault."
So
So,
no, I knew you were trouble when you walked in.
not yet. I didn't have proof of the trouble yet.
Oh no, no proof. Got it. That came later.
Yeah. I don't know. I legitimately thought I might be crazy. He might know all this stuff that I don't, and he might have his life together, and I just have some things to learn. So it was very back and forth.
Just gaslighting you. I mean, I'm assuming there was a huge age difference. He's like a father's age and you're 18.
Yeah, he would be about 40, 46 or
Oh
something.
my gosh. So he's doing this to a child, gaslighting you into trying to think that child marriage is okay. It's what?
That's very normal life from my childhood.
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't even think about it as, like, bad or terrible. It's just the way it was.
Yeah. I mean, for you to even have the awareness, though, that child marriage is bad, despite what has been going on in the FLDS for a while, and despite even what Warren Jeffs did and why he was put in prison, for you to still be FLDS and be like, yeah, I don't think this child marriage thing is right. That's a big deal.
I didn't even think about it as, like, it being wrong. I just thought it was weird. I think about it different now than I did then. Like, the
Yeah.
thought process was sort of like, what if the child got pregnant and, like, got hurt? They're not ready to be a mother. It wasn't, like, the moral side of it. I didn't have that yet.
Yeah.
It just felt, like, unfair. So it wasn't something I felt should be promoted.
But there's morality in that and not wanting a child to become pregnant for their safety. I think that could be considered a moral reason to be against it.
In a way, FLDS kind of has a distorted version of what's right and wrong in terms of
Yeah.
suffering and things like that, where it's righteous to suffer.
Oh, okay. So he's trying to gaslight you. And how do you keep pushing back, or what happens next?
He basically tells me he's done trying to convince me. Like, mentally, he's tortured by me not accepting this and that I'm treating it lightly and continuing to fight. But he's like, I can't waste my time on somebody so stubborn. And he stopped calling me like every single day. But around the same time, my family, particularly my older brother, who did a lot of our classes and was very much a spiritual example that we all looked up to, he converted to Sam Bateman. So we started calling into Sam's classes. That's what we would listen to as a family. Because in the FLDS, we do have morning class and night class. Have you heard of that?
No, just like sermons you do, but every day instead of just on Sundays?
Yeah. So every single morning around like 6 a.m., I want to
Oh,
say. Yeah.
it's even worse.
Um, the whole family gets together, they sing a hymn, they say prayer, and then they read a sermon from one of the prophets. And then they all gather in a circle. They either hold hands or fold their arms, and they have like family prayer. And then you repeat that at night around like 7, depending on the family. So this is every single day of my life.
Oof.
And then it was really fun. That's the time when I wrote all my stories.
Okay.
Me and gnomes. You couldn't really let the moms see, but it was it wasn't bad. And then on Sunday, you would have church and Sunday school plus morning and night class. And then when we started calling into Sam Bateman's classes, we had like 7 meetings on Sunday. And it was just meeting after meeting and testimonies and just like so much indoctrination just like stuffed into our faces. It was very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And definitely felt the pressure to join him. I mean, at that point, none of our family believed him. We all tolerated it. We tolerated the 2 older brothers believing in him, but we were sort of like just wanting it to blow over. It was during one of these meetings on Sunday that Lud called me again. He hadn't talked for a while. And he's like, I want you to go somewhere where there's not a lot of people. And so I went outside. And he's like, go get your mother, go out to her car, make sure there's no one else there. I want you to say a prayer with her, dedicate the vehicle, make sure the Spirit of God is there, and then call me.
Is that something that's normal too, to dedicate a space?
Yes. Like every time we would drive, we'd have to dedicate the car, like, Heavenly Father, please bless us in our travels, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. We did that too, actually, but we
You
never
did?
called it dedicating. Yeah. Yeah. You just brought up
Yeah.
some memories. Thanks for that.
That's
I
funny.
remember. I mean, it's fine. Whatever. Pray before you get in the car. It's like, sure, good energy. But I forgot that we used
Yeah.
to do that.
That's funny. Well, it was very normal, but this one felt different. Like,
Yeah.
I knew he was gonna say something, and with all the Sam Bateman, I was like, I don't know. But we did that. Me and my mom went out there, we dedicated the car, whatever, and we called him, and he was in that same state of being like tortured and just hurt that we would not accept this. And so he kind of preps us with a little bit of that. He told me that that day he called me and said he had prayed for 4 hours and that he was just in agony. That's the word he used.
Uh-huh.
He said that without him saying anything to Sam, Sam had called him and said, like, come over. I feel like something's wrong. I feel like I can help you. So he drives over to Sam's house because it was when he still lived in the creek. And Sam comes out, and the way Lud described it was he opened the door, he got in, and he took Lud's hand and he looked him in the eye and said, "Your daughter," I won't say her name, "and Makelle belong to me, belong in my family. And this is my best friend. I mean, besides gnomes."
Yeah.
He was telling me, like, it was such a coincidence because I had never told him about you, which I later found out was an absolute lie.
Yeah.
And at that point, I kind of felt like I knew it was coming. I think I started crying. I don't know. Because in my mind, I was going to have to. Like, if I disobeyed him, I would have nowhere else to go but to be an apostate. And nobody wants to be an apostate, believe me. It's the worst punishment you can imagine.
Because your mom was on board in this moment, she's like, oh, praise be.
I don't know. She was fighting with some internal things at that time too, but she would not talk about it with me. Because she felt like if she influenced me, she would have my blood on her hands, is the way they put it.
Oh, so at this point, though, your mom is on board with Sam.
I don't think she was 100% of that time. She was fighting it, but she would not. She kept going back and forth. She was afraid of shutting it down if it turned out to be right,
Yeah.
but she wasn't in favor of it.
But she was on board enough to want you to marry him. To not, well, not want you to, but to not stop it.
She didn't try to
Intervene.
stop it at all. No.
So what happened after that?
I spent a lot of time praying and just trying to work it out with God and trying to get my own testimony of it.
Yeah.
But I was so against it that even though I prayed a lot, I still didn't want to marry him. And my entire family, they hadn't accepted him yet. So I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be okay. Like, I'm not going to have to. I think it's just going to pass. Because a couple weeks had gone by. No one made me. And I was like, oh my God, I'm okay. November 11th, actually, of 2020, Lud and his original wife, Jomi, they came through Colorado where we were living. And it was pretty unexpected where they just stopped at our house. I mean, it was unexpected for everybody else. I was expecting it because Lud called me and he's like, "We're going to Lincoln. We're gonna take Gnomes and Jomi up there. Do you want to come?" And I knew what they were doing. I knew they were going to get married. And I said no. And he was like so sad. He was like, I have to let you make your own decisions, but like, okay, I'm just gonna step back now. But anyway, they came to Colorado. Just Lud and Jomi came and talked to my second mom and my older sister for hours. Jomi told them that if there was any FLDS woman that was not married or under priesthood direction of some sort, she would be destroyed, like die, like in the
Whoa.
destructions. Yeah. And we believed in the destruction. We believed that at any moment the world was going to end.
Right.
And it was real. So for my older sister, it was sort of like, you need to get under some sort of priesthood direction, like right now. Like your life is in danger. So from there, she started believing. Like basically that day, she started texting Sam. They started having like some sort of secret whatever. No one really knew because it was, he wouldn't let him talk about it. It's kind of an interesting story, but she basically told us that God wanted her to marry her half-brother, and the only escape from it was if she married Sam. That God would, like, give her some way to get out of it, because she didn't wanna do that. No one wants to do that.
Wait, let me clarify. So your older sister said, I feel like God wants me to marry our half-brother, but if I marry Sam, he'll be cool with that.
Yeah, basically. It was worded a lot different, It was worded
I'm
like
sure.
some powerful.
And I'm over here like, what in the order is going on here?
I
What
know,
in the
right?
Kingston clan? Okay.
Yeah, that does happen in the FLDS, but not that close. Not like half brothers.
Yeah.
Like what she told my other sisters, they wanted to like throw up. They're like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "God is so merciful that He is not gonna make me do that. He's like giving me a different path, and I'm so grateful." So that's kind of her story. I do wonder if it's more of her place to tell it. So I'm leaving out everything. Because I hope she does tell it one day.
So there's more. Okay. That was you leaving out things.
Well, she does have her whole story. As far as I know, she still kind of supports Sam, but she's coming out of it, and I just want the best for her because I really love her.
Yeah. She's been through her own stuff, so we're not going to judge.
Definitely.
But it
Yeah.
gives you context to hear that side of it. So
Mm-hmm.
now your sister's on board, and slowly, family member by family member, it's getting whittled down to you.
Yeah. Well, first it was just her, and he would pass messages to me through her, and he also started texting me like every day. And I have these text messages right now. They're kind of funny because he's
Sam?
like, yeah.
What does he say?
The first text message he sent me was, "God has placed my heart in love with you."
Okay.
I was like barely 18.
Poetic.
And I was like, "Nope." Just like that. And then he
Yeah.
sent me a pretty severe correction about how I was like uglier than a snake and God was gonna beat the shit out of me till I till I obeyed.
What?
Yeah.
So just completely flipping back and forth.
Hmm.
What's going through your mind at this moment? And because you have family that's on board with this. So how are you feeling?
I was unnerved, especially in the FLDS. No one swore like that. No one talked like that. From what I've seen from cult psychology since, they call it unfreezing, where they put you in a vulnerable state and you feel like you have no protection. It made me really nervous. I cried a lot. I thought that I was basically being sent to hell. I did respond with, "I know I haven't been the best person. Like, I'm sorry you had to use that strong language on me, but I understand I've been so bad."
Mm.
It's really weird. Like, I apologized to him for having to do that. So he kept working with me. But that text was not uncommon with him and his wives. Like, we have all had them. We've all had several of them, some worse than others. It's something you're always on edge about. From there, he had me start checking in with him every single day. And I obeyed him on that. Like, I would text him the way that he wanted me to, just be like checking in, and he would send me scripture and whatever. But I was also testing him because his other wives said that he could read their thoughts and that he could detect the spirit of God or the spirit of the devil, and he knew exactly what was in your heart and in your brain the second he came around you, or from talking with you on the phone or texting you. So I would text him and deliberately do evil things to see if he could pick up on it. It's kind of weird.
That's not weird. That's smart. What were you trying to test him with?
Well, for one, I had an older sister who had left the FLDS like 12 years before this. And I started talking to her over Facebook, and that was really not allowed.
When that's the evil we're talking about here.
That was very evil. Like, I would hide in the closet and talk to her on the phone. And when I walked out of that closet, I just felt like dark, and I felt like everybody could see the evil in me and that I couldn't hide it. It was such a weird place to be in.
Yeah.
But that's how everybody felt at that time.
Right. And I want everybody to know that that is not uncommon, because when outsiders are like, I don't get it. If it's so bad, just leave. This is the mentality that you're working with. When they make you believe so strongly that if you even speak to someone on the outside, you are doomed to hell. This is very high stakes that we're up against
Mhm.
here. And so I'm really glad that you shared that, because I want people to understand just how critical it is and how close-minded you are programmed to be on purpose so that they can keep you in and keep you controlled. So you're talking to your sister. Sam, I'm assuming, has no idea. So what
No
do you
idea.
think? So you're like,
It was very interesting because in my head, it was one of the worst conversations we'd ever had, where she warned me pretty heavily about things like sex and grooming. And
Oh,
you did
wow.
not talk about that in the FLDS. Like, I had no idea what anything was called, like how anything worked. You didn't ask about it. You did not think about it. And she kind of, she was like, yeah, sex is like the worst thing that can happen in the FLDS. It's like a knife stabbing you. It's awful. And I see what she was doing now, but it really scared me.
So your sister was basically trying to scare you into not going down the path of having sex with Sam because she knew that you were with him at this point?
She knew that he was trying to marry me,
Okay.
and that was part of the reason that she reached out to me.
Wow.
Yeah, I felt contaminated for knowing anything about it. That's what I mean by I thought my family could tell that I had lost, like, the innocent part of like, not knowing about that.
Yeah.
I just felt so transparent. After that conversation, I texted Sam, like the usual. I was like, checking in, and he said something about, "Shine bright, Heavenly Father's only a prayer away." And I'm like, he doesn't know.
Yeah.
He can't know. So that was actually funny. But there was one time I actually confessed to him that I wrote a song that made fun of him. And I was, because we did that.
We did that, she says.
Me and my younger sister, we would write songs that kind of like how Taylor Swift does about like boys that broke her heart or whatever. Like Sam, he was really stressing me out. So yeah, we wrote I wrote a song that didn't make him look good. And so I confessed that to him. I'm like, I just feel like Heavenly Father wants me to come clean with this, so I'm not hiding anything. And he was sort of like, do you even care how I feel? Like, I'm a person too.
The audacity. The man who is marrying children has the audacity to say to you, "Do you care about my feelings?"
I felt really bad at the time.
Oh my
But
gosh.
continuing on with my indoctrination, he came to Colorado around that time to pick up my older sister, who was marrying him, so she didn't have to marry her brother. I was scared at that time because I thought they were going to make me go with them because I was supposed to be one of his wives. I kind of hid away the whole day and I pondered in my mind, like, if I should go, and I did not want to go, and I knew that. I was afraid of being left behind and losing out on my salvation and the priesthood blessings and things like that. When he showed up with all of his wives, they were actually a lot nicer to me than I thought they would be. And he was a lot nicer to me. It wasn't like, oh, you need to get in the car right now, that type of stuff. It wasn't the way that he was over text, like calling me a bitch and stuff. He was actually very kind. And I still stayed in the corner because I just wanted to observe and not be involved. And one of his wives, the second wife, she had a baby at the time. She came over and found me, and she's like, I just want you to know I love you so much, and none of us are judging you. We've all been through this. None of us wanted to marry Sam. We all fought it. We all had a hard time. You'll get there. It made
Ugh.
me have a lot of love for her. It was like soothing to hear that she wasn't trying to send me to hell like my brother or like Sam's text messages. Like she made it all seem like not so serious, but it was definitely an inevitable. It was like when you finally get to this. They stayed pretty late into the night. They packed up all her stuff. They kept saying like, you can still come with us, and I refused. I probably should have gone at that time. Like, in my mind, that's when it makes sense to have married him. In my mind, I still chickened out. Like, I didn't dare.
So when did you finally give into it then?
Sam and Moroni moved from Lincoln back to Colorado City, and they actually ended up moving into the house that my dad built. And it was like a revelation of God that we should move in with them too, and that Sam wanted all of his followers in one place. So he instructed my brother to sell the house in Colorado to move everybody back to the creek. Nobody wanted to. So he basically had my entire family, all my sisters and moms, like right there living with him. And that was very convenient for him.
Yeah.
When he would have his trainings with his wives, he would start bringing these other girls in and kind of say, oh, you're welcome to be here. Like, even though you're not a wife, like, you can still come hang out with us. And it was kind of fun and it was the cool thing to do. My younger sisters started, it was actually in his bedroom. Everybody would go in there every single night for hours. I didn't know what was happening because I didn't go in there. They would bring me the babies to tend, and this would be at like midnight, 1 in the morning. I sort of felt like I was missing out, but at the same time, I was scared. Like, I didn't want to know. But as time went on, he started marrying more and more of my sisters. And then he married one of my moms. Every girl in that house, he married. And it felt like he was taking my entire foundation, so I didn't have any support. And I don't know why it took me so long. But my younger sister, she was about 14 at the time, and her and I were best friends. Her and I were like the very last ones, or I had one older sister too, but she was getting there. Her and I, this younger sister, we would joke around about Sam all the time. We hated him. We would make fun of him. We'd always make jokes about him. And around that time, Sam sent me back to Lincoln to pack up the rest of that house and kind of move them out. And while I was gone, he married my younger sister and the older one. So it was kind of a shock for me to go from joking about him to coming home and finding her just, it's disgusting, but like all over him. And she's 14. I know that he did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, he made sure I wasn't there.
Yeah.
In order to get to her. Like, I know it. I was still talking to this older sister who had apostatized, and I made the mistake of telling her that my younger sisters had married Sam. And she called DCS, and they showed up, and it was during this time where Sam decided that everybody was too wicked to live with him, so he packed up all his all his favorite wives and like left. He invited me to go, but I didn't want to, even though I wasn't a wife. And so I was kind of at that house by myself, and I was in a very like tortured state of mind because I felt like I was being left behind, but I still wasn't willing to marry him. I don't know how I did that. But anyway, DCS shows up and they're like, we heard some reports about this minor, and we've heard that they might be married or whatever, and we want to see them and make sure that they're okay. They're like, where are they? And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, you're lying. We know how the FLDS works. Like, bring them out. And I'm like, I actually don't know. But somebody ended up calling Sam, and they did bring those girls over there. And they asked them some questions and stuff that was very insider information. And after they left, I think basically the whole house knew that someone from the inside was feeding the outside information.
Yeah.
And everybody know who that was. I was the only one that hadn't married him. I was vocal about not really liking him. So yeah, everybody knew that I was a traitor. At that point, I tried to own it. Like, I called Sam and I was like, I'm sorry for what happened. And he exploded at me. He was so mad. He was like, you've been talking to people on the outside and you've been stroking the whiskers of the devil. You've just been like, just hanging out with the devil, acting like you're not going to get the devil's spirit. And he was so mad at me. And he said, I want to talk to you, but I don't want you to bring your phone, because if you bring your phone, you're going to record something, or you're going to call the cops, or this and that and the other, but I need to talk to you. And I said, if I don't bring my phone, what are you going to do to me?
Yeah.
And he was like, you're full of shit. And he like, oh God. So he was so mad that I would say that.
Yeah.
I felt so bad about that I packed up all my stuff and left. I left the group, not because I felt like it was 100% wrong. I hadn't got to that headspace yet, but I just felt like I was inconveniencing them and that I had put them in danger and exposed them to all these evil questions of the cops and DCS. Like, I felt so just contaminated for having anything to do with that. It was like Judas Iscariot.
Yeah. And meanwhile, your sister on the outside is probably also freaking out, going, I need to save my siblings.
She definitely was.
Have you reconnected with her? I'm jumping ahead, but have you reconnected with her?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm
Oh,
sure you've
yeah.
had long conversations.
Yeah, I lived with her for a while after I left.
Okay.
But anyway, Sam was very kind with me leaving. He actually sent me with a car, and he wasn't super mad about me, like, leaving the group. Some of the girls were really sad, especially Gnomes. She was really sad. I went out in the world. I found myself a job, found a place to live with
Wow.
a friend. It wasn't easy. Like, the first month or so, like, I think I had like $20 to live on, and I starved. I didn't have any way to buy food or fuel or anything, so it was rough, but it wasn't near as hard as what was going on, like, spiritually in my head. It was like mental torture, trying to decide what to do and if I should just marry him. I would give myself a lot of shit for not marrying him. I'd be like, Makelle, what are you doing? Like, just give in already. Like, you know you're gonna have to. I don't know why you fought it for this long. You look stupid. Like, you need to just give it up already. And I don't know, I couldn't.
Did they basically excommunicate you?
No, they were very kind. They were very kind with me leaving, especially my mom. Like,
Okay.
she was really sad about it. I kept it a secret from even my older sister that I had moved out, because in my mind, I left because I wasn't worthy to be there, not because I thought it was wrong.
Mm.
So I'm out in the world for maybe 9, 10 months, and I'm working a job. I actually worked at a dairy. It was really weird that I worked there because I would never choose that, but it's what I had. I was like milking cows and stuff. I kind of started to have a little bit of a life, and it was actually getting kind of fun. It was very lonely, but it started to be not bad. And then at this dairy that I worked at, I had a really close friend who was cornered and raped.
Oh my gosh.
And this was by just like an outsider, not connected to Sam Bateman at all. The alarm bells went off in my mind. It was like, this is exactly what Sam told me would happen. It's exactly what my mom told me would happen. This is what the world is like. It's not my friend. It's worse than Sam. And I called my mom and I told her what happened. And the next morning, Sam came through and he offered me to go with him to Salt Lake to actually get a Bentley. And he brought my two best friends, my younger sister and Gnomes. He kind of just talked to me the whole way up there and the whole way down and got me into a place where I admitted that I didn't want the world and I missed me home. And he said that I could come back if I would give him my phone. So I thought about it for like 10 minutes and he bitched at me while I thought about it for not doing it sooner. And then I just thought about how exhausted I was, of like how much I had fought it, how in my mind Sam was a monster and I would always be running from him unless I turned around and either died or somehow like slayed the monster. But I was like, I cannot keep running away from him like my entire life. Even for the freedom of mind, I don't care if I die. I don't care if, I get used in whatever way everybody's telling me he's going to use me. At least I won't be afraid. I just want it to be over with. So I put my phone up there and he turned around and he was like, he was so impressed, but he was also like, finally. My two best friends, they all hugged me and they were really happy. And they immediately called home, called the other wives, told them I was coming home, and everybody was excited. They didn't tell my mom though.
Why not?
I'm not sure. I don't think she was there, But when we got home and I walked through the door and she saw me, she just started bawling. And she was like, oh my God, like you finally like accepted this and you're finally home and like you're finally safe, which is like such a weird way to put it. There was a lot happening in that house that I did not know about. In particular, the date of that was November 6th. And on November 1st, there had been like a ritual they call the Atonement in the Sam Bateman group. I don't know if you know what it is.
The atonement or the ritual?
The Atonement ritual.
You mean like blood atonement ritual?
Sam called it the Atonement. It was
Okay.
basically, it was a ritual that involved other men having
Oh,
with his child brides. So I did not know that had happened. And how was I to know? I thought I was just finally getting to come home.
yeah.
One thing about when I had been out in the world, though, is I had started talking to Christine. We became friends. And when I went back, I just texted her. I was like, I'm going back to with Sam. I'm going home. And she texted back, but I never saw it because I gave the phone to Sam.
We have just got the tip of the iceberg here. Makelle, there's so much to talk about, and I don't want to cut short how you're doing now and your love for music and everything. And so the audience is going to hate me. Sorry, guys. We are going to do a separate episode where we talk about what it was like actually being Sam Bateman's wife and how she was basically the reason that he's in prison now by feeding Christine information. I'm giving you credit, girl. You got to take it. Christine said so. And
Well, if
how
she said.
she said. So how you helped put him in prison and also the aftermath of the documentary coming out and what that has meant for you. So we are going to leave it at this cliffhanger, but of course we have to do a Linda Listen before. And then I cannot wait to find out how you were listening to the show, how you found the show while you were in Sam Bateman. It's still blowing my mind that you listened while you were in his house.
Weirdly, I found it because I looked up Jim Jones. My brother mentioned that name and the word cult, and then it just exploded. And then I was like down these rabbit holes, just looking up all these cults, like, oh my God, like this is not just us. This is not just my family. We're not the right one. There's like millions of the right one. And that was mind blowing for me.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, let's do a Linda Listen moment.
It's a little too inconvenient that God said he should marry every girl he sees.
Linda, listen, you may have got me the first time around, but you're not holding me back anymore. We are going to talk about your music and your passions and your hobbies and everything in the second episode, but where can everybody find you and support you until then?
I have my Instagram, which is 16 Makelle. I have TikTok, which is just Makelle Baseline 8. I don't post like a lot, but every once in a while, I'll put something on there.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Everyone go follow and support and stay tuned for the second episode. I can't wait to get into it. There's so much we need to cover. And do you have any other final thoughts before we go, Makelle?
I'm just so happy to be on this podcast finally. I'm such a fan and I'm so glad to be here.
It's amazing. I'm still giddy about it, to be honest. I can't wait to go talk to Jonathan about this and be like, you are not going to believe this. I guess it just makes me happy because we put in so much work to this show and it's become our full-time job and we eat, sleep, and breathe cults and cult survivor stories and we want to help people. And so to hear that it was such a full circle moment for you, it just warms my little heart.
It's helping people deconstruct.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's so cool. Okay, well, thank you for coming on and sharing, Makelle. I'm so happy that I was able to have you on and hold space for your story because I know you're kind of new with going public, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.
All right. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave those words of encouragement down below for Makelle, who is bravely coming on and sharing her story. Definitely make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss when the next episode drops. And if you want any more behind the scenes content. If you're interested in that type of thing, you can become a channel member and support us that way. And you get early access to some of our videos as well. And we do members only live streams. Yeah, everyone go check out the other episodes that we did with Jude, Sam Bateman's sister, with Christine, with Gnomes. You're going to want to watch those. And if you're interested in further FLDS stories, we have a whole playlist on those too. So check it out. I will link 2 down here below. And until next time, follow your highest excitement, be conscious, and be well.